So here's the first question. Which LGBTQ organizations or other kind of organizations and groups have you worked with, benefited from, or considered an asset in your community?
For me, honestly, the first thing that comes up, if I was being really candid, which I am, the first thing that comes up is the social scene, like the club. It was a club long before, attending any rallies or like intentional spaces um, where queer people are being centered. That was the club first for me personally.
Hairspray?
Hairspray, club hairspray. So that was like my first kind of that hits this question, and where was that kind of space or environment that you encountered LGBTQ people the most often, was that same space. And so I think I came out around like 17 or 16 or 17. Um, and as soon as I turned 18, I was able to go to a club. And so before then, I hadn't had much interaction or involvement with other queer people at all. And if so, maybe it was kind of covertly, and, people not really comfortable with being out. And so, yeah, I didn't have a huge social scene growing up. And organization wise, it wasn't until really my mid 20s and like my late 20s that I started um, being kind of engaged with organizations um, like knowing Michael Harney and like the work that he would do around town. And so like I think that was like maybe even the first openly gay man that I crossed paths with professionally and personally. And so Michael's work with WNCAP here in Asheville, the Western North Carolina AIDS Project, was the first organization I think that I encountered that centered, not just all people, but specifically a lot of LGBTQ people. And that must have been around like 22 or so. And then here recently, I joined a leadership development cohort called SONG, Southerners on New Ground. And SONG really opened me up to my LGBTQ community. I don't think that I had ever had a close enough engagement with a trans person up until maybe a year and a half ago. So at like 28 or 29 is around the time that I had first gone to a gathering that centered, I was part of this group called the Lord's Work. And so Song had this leadership development cohort called the Lord's Work. The Lord is an Audre Lorde. And work was spelled like WERQ or something. And so the purpose of that convening or that cohort was to kind of just get you more comfortable with being around other LGBTQ people, but specifically of color. So all my Latinx LGBTQ people, all my Black LGBTQ people are part of this cohort, and it must be like 35 of us who we go down to Atlanta and we get together and we just start getting to know each other. And that's where I was kind of like, my mind was blown and shattered at how diverse those letters really are to LGBTQ. I had never been in a room with all of the letters.